Stop everything you're doing right now, because I'm about to reveal why 99% of people leave this world without ever living even a single day that truly belonged to them. And if you're watching this at 2 a.m., questioning every decision you've made up to this moment, then what you're about to hear might be the most important half hour of your entire existence. Picture this: the person sitting beside you on the bus, your co-worker, maybe even you, might be living out someone else's script while your own spirit quietly suffocates. Every morning you awaken to an alarm someone else decided you needed. Every day you abide by rules someone else wrote. And every night you fall asleep knowing you've spent yet another day being the version of yourself that others demand you to be. But what if I told you that there's a 500-year-old secret used by the most influential people in history to break free from this invisible cage? What if the key to reclaiming your life lies buried in the darkest depths of strategic thinking, written by a man so controversial that his name became synonymous with cold, calculated power? Niccolò Machiavelli didn't write The Prince so you could climb a corporate hierarchy. He wrote it to teach you how to claim your own throne in a world engineered to keep you obedient. In the next 30 minutes, you're going to uncover the harsh truth about how conformity is strangling your potential, why standing alone can transform you into an unstoppable force, and the precise strategy to build a life so authentic that others will eventually follow you willingly. But let me warn you, once you understand what I'm about to show you, there's no going back. You won't be able to unsee it. You'll never look at your life the same way again. If you're ready to unplug from the matrix, drop this affirmation in the comments: I choose my path. 1. The myth of conformity. Let's begin with a truth most people are too uncomfortable to face. From the moment you take your first breath, society starts shaping you into what it wants, not what you are. Go to school, earn good grades, find a stable job, get married, buy a home, have children, retire, die. It's the exact same script for everyone, and we're told it's the formula for happiness. But here's what they never reveal. This script was never designed for your fulfillment. It was designed for their convenience. Consider your typical day. How many of your choices actually belong to you? What time you wake up, set by your employer. What you wear, guided by social norms. What you eat, manipulated by advertising and peer pressure. Even your hopes and ambitions filtered through what others deem realistic or acceptable. The modern world gives you the illusion of endless options while quietly stripping away real freedom. You're offered 1,000 variations of the same thing and told you're free, while the fundamental structure of your life looks exactly like everyone else's. This conditioning runs deeper than you realize. Your schooling taught you to sit in rows, raise your hand for permission to speak, and follow instructions without challenging them. Your workplace reinforces this with dress codes, fixed schedules, and performance reviews that reward obedience over imagination. Your social circles reinforce it through gossip about those who dare to be different, subtle pressure to blend in, and praise for those who conform. The result? A generation sleepwalking through life, forgetting they ever had dreams of their own. People who have mastered becoming what others want, while losing all sense of who they truly are. Machiavelli once wrote, "The first method for evaluating the intelligence of a ruler is to observe the people he surrounds himself with." But what happens if you choose to stand alone? What if you decide to think for yourself? Most people are terrified of solitude because they've never learned to trust their own judgment. They would rather be wrong with the crowd than right on their own. And that fear keeps millions trapped in lives they never consciously chose. Think about your career path. Did you choose it because it set your soul on fire? Or because it felt safe? Because it would earn admiration? Because your family approved? Be brutally honest. Look at your routines. Do you check social media first thing in the morning because it brings you joy? Or because it's what everyone else does? Do you consume the same shows, the same trends, the same products as the people around you? When was the last time you made a choice that was purely your own? The same applies to your relationships. How many people settle for partners who fit society's checklist instead of someone who understands their spirit. How many friendships exist only out of habit, not connection? How many conversations are performances rather than moments of authenticity? The traditional path promises stability, but delivers mediocrity. It promises belonging, but trades it for uniformity. It promises success, but defines success in someone else's language. It promises happiness, but gives you numbness. It promises meaning, but leaves you empty. And the saddest part, most people never even realize they're imprisoned. They believe their unhappiness is caused by not earning enough, not finding the right partner, not living in the right city. They spend their whole lives trying to maximize a game they never chose, while ignoring the one they were meant to create. True fulfillment, the kind that makes you leap out of bed in the morning, lives outside these boundaries. It exists in the space between society's expectations and the truth you carry inside yourself. And discovering it takes courage, the courage to disappoint people who never truly understood you anyway. If you're ready to reclaim your life, drop this affirmation in the comments. My path matters. Number 2, mastering self-reliance in a hyper-connected world. This is where most people completely misunderstand the concept. They assume that choosing your own path means disappearing into isolation or cutting ties with everyone around you. But that's not strategic independence. That's just loneliness, dressed up as strength. Real independence comes from becoming fully self-sufficient while still participating powerfully in the world around you. This isn't about rejecting relationships. It's about entering them from a place of internal stability instead of dependence. Because once you truly cultivate self-reliance, something extraordinary happens. You stop craving validation and begin providing value. You stop forcing yourself to blend in and naturally begin to stand out. You stop following others' momentum and start generating your own. Let me make this concrete. Imagine you're in a business meeting where everyone is happily agreeing to a terrible proposal. The usual response is either to challenge the idea and risk being labeled difficult, or to stay silent and maintain fake harmony. In both cases, you are reacting to group pressure, but the self-reliant person operates differently. You've already done your research. You've already formed your own analysis. You've already developed alternative solutions. So when you speak up, it's not driven by insecurity or the need to be noticed. It's driven by confidence, clarity, and independent thought. And that kind of contribution commands a level of respect that groupthink never will. But let's go deeper into what self-reliance really means in practice. It means cultivating your own sources of information instead of absorbing whatever everyone else is consuming. It means creating your own decision-making framework instead of outsourcing your judgment. It means defining success in your own language instead of chasing goals that don't fulfill you. Self-reliance is being financially secure enough to walk away from situations that violate your values. It's being emotionally balanced enough that you don't rely on constant praise or reassurance. It's being intellectually driven enough to form your own viewpoints rather than adopting whatever opinion is trending at the moment. Machiavelli once wrote, "Everyone sees what you seem to be, but few know who you truly are." And when you operate from genuine self-awareness and independent reasoning, the few who matter will recognize your authenticity, while the many who don't will respect your strength. Strategic independence actually improves collaboration because it brings fresh insight into environments where everyone else is thinking the same way. When minds are identical, thinking becomes shallow. But when you develop your own perspective, you become valuable specifically because you're different. Look at history's most successful entrepreneurs. They didn't rise by imitating the crowd. They succeeded because their vision was so vivid and so unique that others wanted to follow it. Steve Jobs didn't ask people what they wanted. He created what they couldn't imagine yet. Oprah didn't stick to the standard broadcasting formula. She built a new model that others tried to imitate. This is the paradox of leadership. The more comfortable you become standing alone, the more people gravitate toward you. The more you trust your own decisions, the more people trust you. The more authentic you grow, the more authentic relationships you attract. In negotiation, this principle is legendary. When you don't need the deal, you get better offers. When you're not desperate for approval, people start giving it. When you are genuinely willing to walk away, others suddenly meet your terms. But here's the essential part. This isn't about manipulation or playing psychological games. It's about knowing your worth so clearly and walking your path so confidently that you naturally pull the right opportunities and people into your orbit. The self-reliant individual doesn't network. They magnetize. They don't chase chances. Number 3, the power of calculated risk. Let's talk about risk. Most people spend their entire lives trying desperately to avoid it. But here's what they never realize. The greatest danger you'll ever face is refusing to take risks at all. Every real achievement in human history was born from someone willing to step into uncertainty. Every innovation, every advancement, every turning point happened because someone chose the unfamiliar path over the comfortable one. But there's a major difference between blind recklessness and strategic risk-taking. Reckless people leap without looking. Strategic risk-takers examine the terrain, prepare for multiple outcomes, and make decisions based on their own careful assessment. The fear of risk is really the fear of responsibility. When you cling to the safe route, you get to blame circumstances for your dissatisfaction. But when you take a risk, you become accountable for the consequences, both the triumphs and the failures. Most people prefer being victims of fate instead of becoming the writers of their own story. Machiavelli once said, "Since love and fear rarely coexist, if one must choose, it is safer to be feared than loved." This isn't about cruelty, it's about being respected for your clarity, skill, and decisiveness, rather than winning approval through compliance. When you embrace calculated risk, even your imperfect outcomes become assets. Every failure becomes information. Every obstacle becomes preparation. Every misstep becomes a lesson you could never learn by playing it safe. Think about it honestly. What's the absolute worst that could happen if you chased the life you actually want instead of the one others expect from you? Most of the time, the worst-case scenario isn't nearly as catastrophic as you imagine, especially compared to the slow suffocation of living a life that isn't yours. Let's examine some common fears and the reality beneath them. Fear of losing financial stability, yet you're already financially confined in a system that undervalues you. Fear of being judged or rejected, yet many people around you don't truly know or appreciate who you are. Fear of failing, yet right now you're failing to reach the potential that belongs specifically to you. Now flip the perspective. What's the worst thing that could happen if you don't take risks? You'll reach the final chapter of your life without ever discovering your true capabilities. You'll cling so tightly to safety that you never experience anything meaningful. You'll die with your greatest gifts still locked inside you. Machiavelli's principle of anticipating obstacles isn't pessimism, it's preparation. When you've examined potential challenges and prepared your responses, you move forward with certainty rather than fear. Here's a practical blueprint for taking calculated risks. First, clearly define your goal and why it matters. Vague ambitions produce vague outcomes. Get precise about what you want and understand the deeper emotional drive behind it. That clarity will carry you through the rough parts. Second, identify the specific risks and their probability. Most fears evaporate when you analyze them honestly. Write down the worst-case scenarios and evaluate how likely they really are. You'll often discover that your fears are imagination, not reality. Third, create backup strategies. What's your move if Plan A fails? What about Plan B? Contingency planning doesn't mean you expect to fail, it means you're equipped to adapt. And adaptability dramatically increases your odds of winning. Fourth, begin small and build momentum. You don't have to wager everything on one massive leap. Take smaller, strategically chosen risks that strengthen your confidence and skill. Each success becomes a foundation for bigger moves later. Fifth, set timelines and measurable indicators of success. How will you track progress? When will you reevaluate? Clear milestones prevent you from abandoning the plan too soon or clinging to something that isn't working. Finally, take the damn action. Endless analysis without execution is simply procrastination disguised as intelligence. There is no perfect moment, no perfect clarity, no perfect conditions. At some point you must step forward. Remember, the goal isn't to eliminate risk, it's to take intelligent risks. The person who never fails is simply the person who never attempts anything worthwhile. The one who never faces uncertainty never learns what they're capable of. Risk is not the antagonist, mediocrity is. Uncertainty is not the threat, stagnation is. The unknown is not what should frighten you. Your familiar but limited life should. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I embrace uncertainty. Number 4. Designing your untouched path. Now we reach the most crucial stage, actually building your own path. This doesn't mean rejecting everything society offers. It means consciously selecting what supports your true vision and letting go of everything that doesn't. The first step is radical honesty about what you genuinely desire, not what you've been conditioned to believe you should want. Remove the expectations, the internalized criticism, the fears, and the programmed limitations. Ask yourself, what would you pursue if success was guaranteed? What would you do if no one's opinion mattered? What activities make you feel fully alive? This process of rediscovery is harder than it appears. Most people have spent so many years suppressing their authentic desires that they can't even recognize them anymore. You may need to revisit early memories, those moments before you were told to be practical, to reconnect with what truly fascinated you. This isn't a one-time revelation. Your authentic vision evolves as you grow. The key is staying aligned with your internal guidance while remaining adaptable about the route you take. Machiavelli wrote, "The lion cannot guard himself against snares, and the fox cannot defend himself against wolves." In other words, you need the fox's awareness and the lion's courage to carve out your own direction. You must combine intelligent strategy with bold action. Here's your detailed blueprint. Start with a personal audit. Which parts of your life currently reflect your true vision? Which parts exist only out of fear, routine, or pressure from others? Be brutally honest. This step may feel uncomfortable, but it's essential. You can't move toward your desired future unless you understand your present reality. Examine your daily routine. How much of your time goes toward energizing, meaningful activities? How much goes toward tasks that drain you or obligations you don't care about? Evaluate your relationships. 2. Who adds genuine value and who pulls you away from your path? Next, define your unique blend of strengths, passions, and values. What skills come naturally to you? What subjects or activities capture your attention effortlessly? What principles are so important that you would sacrifice for them? Your path must be built around these elements. Your strengths aren't just technical, they include your mindset, your natural gifts, your personality, and the abilities you've developed over time. Your interests aren't trivial, they reveal where your energy wants to go. Your values aren't abstract, they're the foundation of a life that feels meaningful. Then begin taking small, consistent steps toward your vision. You don't need to quit your job today or uproot your entire life. Start with daily actions aligned with your direction. Maybe 30 minutes each morning dedicated to something that matters. Maybe a side project. Maybe a new habit. Consistency beats intensity. Tiny actions done repeatedly create massive change over time. One page written daily becomes a full book. One monthly experiment becomes entrepreneurial expertise. One real conversation each week becomes a network built on authenticity. Define your own success criteria. Society promotes money, status, and recognition as universal goals. But what do you consider success? Clarify your personal metrics so you know when you're progressing. Your metrics might include freedom, how much control you have over your schedule. They might include impact, how much positive influence you create. They might include fulfillment, how often you feel energized instead of depleted. Create your own feedback system. Instead of depending on external approval, design internal measures that track progress toward your values, your vision, and your satisfaction. Traditional feedback, bosses, customers, critics, likes, often reflects popular opinion, not authentic direction. Your internal indicators keep you aligned with what truly matters. Expect resistance. When you begin forging your own path, many people won't understand. Some will doubt you, predict failure, or pressure you to return to the familiar path. This is normal. Their discomfort usually mirrors their own unexamined limitations. Resistance may come from family who want you to follow their definition of success, from friends who feel threatened by your growth, or from colleagues who prefer the predictable version of you. Remember, their judgments reflect their fears, not your potential. Build a support system of people who understand your commitment to authenticity. This might require new mentors, new communities, or new friendships. Find people who encourage your evolution rather than fear it. Understand that this is a continuous process of learning and recalibration. Your path will twist in ways you cannot foresee. The goal is not to predict every turn, but to remain loyal to your vision while staying flexible in how you pursue it. Most importantly, trust your instincts. You have access to information about yourself that no one else can see. You know your deepest ambitions, your hidden strengths, your unique way of understanding the world. Leverage that knowledge. Your intuition is the sum of your experiences, insights, and subconscious processing. When something feels right or wrong, pay attention. Your instincts often perceive truths that logic hasn't caught up to yet. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I trust myself. We've covered a tremendous amount today. We've shattered the illusion of conformity and exposed how it quietly suffocates your potential. We've uncovered how true independence, when done strategically, actually deepens your relationships and expands your opportunities. We've broken down the immense power of taking calculated risks and how even your failures push you forward. And we've laid out a complete roadmap for building a path that belongs solely to you. But here's the truth. Knowledge without action changes nothing. You can consume every piece of content, read every transformative book, and attend all the life-changing seminars, but unless you take that first personal step, everything stays exactly the same. The world needs what only you can contribute. It needs your insight, your creativity, your gifts, your unique worldview, but it will never receive any of that if you continue trying to mimic a version of someone else. Look at the greatest contributions throughout history. They didn't come from people who blended in. They came from those who dared to think differently, who acted independently, who created what had never existed before. They were the ones who refused to accept the world as it was handed to them and instead carved out a new reality. Your throne isn't sitting in some far-off future. No one is going to deliver it to you. It isn't hidden behind some secret door waiting to be discovered. Your throne appears the moment you decide you're worthy of it. It appears the moment you choose your own direction instead of the path everyone else walks. It appears the moment you trust your inner voice more than the noise of the crowd. The real question is not whether you can create your own path. You absolutely can. The question is whether you're willing to begin. Are you willing to let some people down so you can stop letting yourself down? Are you willing to embrace uncertainty long enough to uncover your true abilities? Are you willing to stand alone if that's what authenticity requires? Every day you wait is another day spent living a life designed by someone else. Every excuse you give yourself is another layer added to the prison, built around your potential. Every time you choose comfort over truth, you choose mediocrity over greatness. Start today. Start right now. Take one small step toward your real vision. Send that message. Make that phone call. Take the first action. Write the first paragraph. Have the honest conversation. Invest in your growth. Your future self is begging you to begin. Remember, courage isn't the absence of fear. It's moving forward while fear is still present. You don't have to feel ready. You don't have to see the entire path. You don't need anyone's permission. You only need to start. If this video expanded your perspective, hit that like button and share it with someone who needs this wake-up call. And if you want more strategies for living life on your own terms, subscribe and turn on notifications. Your support helps us reach more people ready to break free and claim their rightful power. Your path has been calling to you your entire life. It's time to stop delaying and start progressing. It's time to stop following the crowd and start leading yourself. It's time to stop living someone else's blueprint and start creating your own reality. The throne is waiting. The question is, will you take your seat? Drop this final affirmation in the comments. My time is now.